over a new artist called Salvador Dali. Have any of you guys heard of him before? No. You know the elephant with the really, really long legs? Have you seen those, like the posters and the melting clocks and stuff like that? No, a little bit, some of you? Okay, so Salvador Dali is known for like a pioneer for the movement surrealism. Do you guys remember a little bit about surrealism from Frida Kahlo? Like a little bit? What do you remember from that?
Is it like where you draw like real things, but you're like something different?
Yeah, like you're kind of in like a dream world. That's kind of the best way to remember it. It's like your dreams are kind of like real, but kind of exaggerated, right? So here's some more. What is surrealism? So some characteristics of surrealism include strange images or bizarre juxtapositions, unconsciousness as a valid reality, dreamlike artwork or symbolic images, automatism techniques to create random effects, and distorted figures or biomorphic shapes. Okay? So it is an art and cultural movement that developed in Europe in the aftermath of World War I, in which artists aim to allow the unconscious mind to express itself, often resulting in the depiction of illogical or dreamlike scenes and ideas. Does that make sense to you guys, or is that a little confusing?
It's like a lucid dream.
Huh?
Something
Like a lucid dream, exactly. So it's kind of like living in this dream world, and then there's also philosopher Freud, which you guys stuff like that, so they're all these like realms of consciousness and stuff. So it's kind of like you're gonna see a lot of stuff that's a little bizarre, but it's like kind of like when you're in your dream, you're like, what was that? It's kind of weird. Like it's kind of relative to something in your life, but then there's a lot of random stuff in it too, right? Okay, so you're gonna see that a lot. We're gonna watch a little documentary on Salvador Dali. He was super eccentric. Then we're gonna take like a little assessment quiz just to see like where you guys are at with the vocabulary we've been doing and stuff, and we're gonna look at some of his slides, and then we'll start part of the project today. Okay, most of the project will get done tomorrow. Today we're gonna kind of talk a lot about surrealism and some of the vocab words and stuff like that. Okay, any questions? No?
Surrealist painter who sees the world through surrealist eyes. If you're curious to hear Salvador Dali talk about decadence, death, and immortality, about his surrealist art, his politics, and his existence before he was born, we'll go after those stories in just a moment. Is there any point?
This is very important because myself work constantly in a moment of sleep. Every of my best ideas coming through my dreams.
He was obsessed with Sigmund Freud, and you could say his beginnings were more than a little Freudian. Dali's mother gave birth to her first son in 1901, a child that she named Salvador, who died at 22 months old. Just 9 months later, the Salvador we know was born and was given his dead brother's name. Dali was told by his parents that he was the literal reincarnation of his dead brother, a belief he carried into his adult life.
Bills and stuff like that. So, did you guys get that? That he had an older brother that was born first, right? Obviously, because he's older. And his brother's name was Salvador Dali. But he died at 22 months. Then he was born, and they gave him the same name.
That's weird.
That's kind of weird, right? It's kind of crazy. So then he believes, this kind of starts his like way of thinking, he believes that he is the reincarnation of his brother that passed away.
I think I just hear the same thing.
Yeah. Do you guys know what reincarnation?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Theory that dreams are the key to unlocking the secrets of the unconscious mind.
Right.
To access his subconscious, Dali, during the day, he would lie in a chair holding a heavy key in his right hand, underneath which he placed an upside-down plate on the floor. When he fell into a deep sleep, he dropped the key, and the clang woke him up.
Does that make sense?
How does he
So he'd like fall asleep at night, right? But most of his ideas he would think of when he was dreaming, right? So he'd want to wake up in the middle of that dream so he could draw down the idea of what was happening. So he'd sleep with keys in his hand and like a metal plate underneath his bed or near his bed, so that if he started to fall asleep, he'd drop the keys and it would wake him up. So there's that part of sleep like before you're like actually deep sleep, but like that transition from your sleeping to your slowly getting into your sleep. So then when he would be there, it would like drop the keys and he would like wake up and remember what he was thinking in his subconscious mind. It's kind of crazy, right?
So like, what the heck?
Yeah, he probably, well, that's the thing. So they said that he would micro sleep, so he'd like sleep over every couple hours, right? But every time he'd do that, so an interesting way of thinking, right? So he's not like someone who's just like, get my 8 hours of sleep, go to work, da da da. This was like part of him and part of his art and stuff like that. So yeah, he probably didn't get a ton of sleep.
I was not expecting that out of all
Which can make you a little loopy itself, right? If you're like, don't sleep a lot, you can start to think about weird stuff too. So
He would enter a state of scientists called hypnagogia, an in-between state where you are just beginning to dream but are still conscious. He would use this method with the persistence of memory, a painting that, although stylistically rooted in realism, transcends the world of reason. The strange, confusing, and often disturbing world we visit in our dreams would make Dali a household name. And he would remain so for more than half a century, one of the best known and most bitterly contested figures in the international art world. In 1930, after years of trying, Dali would finally meet Freud, which he likened to meeting God. Freud was 81, Dali 34. By all accounts, they were totally bewildered by each other.
Sigmund Freud is a philosopher that deals with like the dream state.
Surrealism was about finding a bridge
The name
between the
Magritte is a
subconscious
very
and
well-known,
reality. The founder of the Surrealist art
Surrealist as
movement,
well.
André Breton,
We'll go over him.
worked at a subconscious.
This is the one that we're gonna kind of work on, okay? So this is like the demo that I did up here, so we're gonna kind of work on that, and then you're gonna create your own kind of dream-like world, like, but you're gonna learn how to draw that one.
In the same way Dali uses scale to subvert our ideas of reality, he does so with extreme photorealism. He painted the unreal world.
You know what photorealism is?
Yeah, like,
Yeah? What do you think it is? What is it?
it's like, realistic. It's like a picture that, has, has a lot of realistic parts.
Yeah, realistic, things to it, right? Good.
With such realism that no matter how irrational the vision,
So
it
you
is
guys
still
see that these
believable.
are like hands and
This
stuff
is
too?
what makes him
So
unique.
like the more you look at stuff, the more you see it.
Any kind of
In 19 roundings at or Gat.
See how this is a face? So this is like the eyebrow, and then these are like crazy eyelashes, and then this is the nose. So it's almost like a sleepy face. You guys kind of see that?
Of a large square platform. The olive tree, a symbol of peace, is dead. This reflects
So you know the saying, like reach out an olive branch to someone? So like the olive tree is a symbolic of peace, right? So if you're like, oh, just reach out an olive branch, you're like, okay, you're just reaching out like a sign of like, okay, like if you had a disagreement or something's going on, you're like reaching out an olive branch to be like, okay, let's just forget it and squash it, right? Kind of idea. A lot of the artists we're learning about, right? Like a lot of war and conflict and stuff has been an inspiration in their art, right? Like Frida Kahlo and the movement of like the war and
a realist belief that mundane
this is a
things
piece of art
presented
that
in
you did.
unexpected ways have the power to challenge us.
Oh, no.
Materialism is a key concept in the changing the
And then this is Freud.
and the subconscious.
Right now, he's talking about where the watches and
Could I
that
see-
symbology comes
Might
from.
have that in James, there's never time or date.
Yeah. That's part of his thing, it's like the melting watches symbolize that time is like non-existent in that world, right?
nuclear physics proves that the new conception of space-time is completely flexible.
So yeah, that time is completely flexible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that like sound like a good metaphor for the
Yes.
melting clock?
Yes. Dreams feel like years.
Like what?
They do, they
Dreams can feel like years.
It depends. I feel like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear something in my face.
He got
It's
the.
part of
he
his
got the-
signature style.
He had
Do you know what makes like how time, like the watches, is fluid? Does that make sense too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
formation symbolizes the transience of human life. Alfred Hitchcock.
No, he's like famous like
He
horror
appeared
film
in
director Alfred Hitchcock. He's the one that has like he's like the classic horror film guy like back in the day.
Like
yeah.
Dracula.
Yeah, like he does like the classic stuff. He's the one that does like the shower scene, right? With the like the black and white shower scene that you make reference. Yeah, like it's Psycho. He does like the crows, you know, where all the birds are flying. That one scene, that's him. Like I mean, that's like Alfred Hitchcock. It's like yeah. I know. Do you know what
Picasso was very famous.
So it said that his artwork was met with tepid enthusiasm. Do you know what tepid means? Have you heard it? So sometimes you're like tepid water, it's kind of like water that's like not hot, not cold, it's just like. So it was kind of, people started to think that he became too commercial, right? Like he was just more of an act or something, like so he did well and then he was like too much in the mainstream, they think. And so it took away from his art, so that's some art critics say that. Because he was, that is?
Celebrity Stephen.
Picasso.
Picasso, very good.
From a prison of Dali images tapped into the fantasies, dreams, fears and hallucinations of entire generations. And he should be remembered as a consummate draftsman and as a pioneer of surrealism, an artist who made modern art popular and accessible. The persistence of memory is for good reason the most celebrated surrealist canvas ever painted. It really is the work of a crazy genius.
Only difference between an crazy people and Darwin is not.
So do we think he's crazy?
Yes. I think it's crazy in a different way.
Yeah, but like which ways? Why do you think he's crazy?
He's different.
It's different, right?
Scary crazy.
Do you like the idea though of like what he's doing?
No.
Do you think
Yeah.
it's interesting as an
I
artist
think
to
it's
paint
interesting.
like?
Very interesting, but
They
I don't really like
But you don't really like
I
it?
just don't like the way that he thinks.
It's like
You don't like the way he thinks? But you like the
everything
idea of
above
painting in your dream world and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And you just kind of respect his process a little bit, like how much he would just like fall asleep at tea so that he'd wake up, so that he could capture those moments and stuff?
This is either like a reflection of real life, maybe like you, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? So what are some things, so I want you guys to think, so we're gonna do a little exercise. So you're gonna partner up with the person sitting next to you, and I'm gonna hand out some paper, and I want you to just draw one thing from your dream, and then the next person will draw another thing, and we're gonna create like a fun little, like, one thing. So think of something that maybe you had in a dream, or but sometimes you have like recurring dreams, right? You know, that means like a dream that's like always.
Scary. That happened to me like when I was like 8, like the whole year when I was 8. That
Yeah.
was like, feels like crazy.
That's crazy, yeah. So for that, you could draw like a broken window or something to like, you could draw like a broken window as a symbol, or you could draw a person in like 5 windows or something. So think of something like that. I'm gonna give you each a piece of paper, and then I want you to kind of draw it out, and then you're gonna swap, and you're gonna draw something else, so that you're creating like a collaborative piece of artwork,
I
yeah?
actually had a dream last night that I remember, but
You always remember everything,
yeah,
right?
they collab. Like I remember different parts. Like why is
Like what does it mean and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there are dream books too, right? Where you like, if you remember one
Yeah,
thing and it like will tell you. Or if you want to use one of them to kind of get your idea out, and then you can put like, you guys want to use one to like sketch out your ideas, and then you use one as like the collaborative piece. Let's do that. So I'll give you like 5-10 minutes. Anaritra, Gabriel, Eduardo, and Nathan, you'll do one together too. So just get like an idea out of something from a dream world, and then we're gonna like combine them into one piece of paper. So maybe one of the pieces of paper is for you to sketch an idea, and then you're gonna combine them on the other piece of paper. Does that make sense? Or does that look good? Yeah? Okay. Yes.
So I don't think I got.
You can be the one who combine it. Huh? That's kind of scary.
Mine worked. I put it up and I remember all my dreams. I put things down. I put it down. I'm gonna show you.
the first one?
Just think of a dream.
So my dream, the one I had last night,
yesterday is.
I had no idea what I was doing.
okay, pues,
Like music that would inspire him, so he plays, well, maybe something. If you're having a hard time thinking of something from a dream, maybe think of like, just something.
Listen to this music while we sleep.
You listen to it while he sleeps and while he paints.
look at this.
It's very interesting.
So try not to overthink it, just try, it can be something simple too, guys. It doesn't have to be like a super elaborate thing. So what do you think about that? Do you think that like, thinking that way could drive you a little crazy when you're living in a different reality than your own? Like always, he was always trying to live in this like dream world and stuff, and then to think that he was actually the reincarnation of this one.
Yeah, people were saying that he's like someone where it's like theory. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I would be
So what do you guys, what are some things from your
I'm good. Like I didn't know.
He said he went to Minecraft.
You went into like get a dream about you were inside Minecraft.
Mom was outside. With the horns as
Very empty plane. Have you ever seen my picture?
You could draw a hole with you could draw like
There's a game called
ground and then it has like a square hole going into it.
And then you have
Or is this the hole that you fell in?
spider.
Is that what that is?
I remember I was just watching a spider.
Yeah? Okay.
And the line wasn't just like I turned my phone.
yeah, that's the master. That's the
It was almost like a room underground or like a place underground or something.
Yeah.
Kind of. Looked like a hole though. What about you, Nathan?
Just a creature in my house.
A creature? That you, it's like a recurring dream?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is it scary or is it not so scary?
It is.
Scary.
Yeah.
We always remember the scary ones, right?
I know, right? Like
I
I
know,
remember
it's
like,
scary.
like I would wake up smiling like, what did I just dream about? Yeah,
Do you ever have the dreams that you really, really like and you wake up in the middle of and you're like, go back to sleep, I want to finish my
Exactly. I know, like I always have like a dream about like a story or
Yeah,
something going on, and then I wake up right in the middle.
And you're like, this is the good part, go back to sleep.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Oh my god, I was on
You don't dream? Is that one that you dream about a lot? It's like when you've had more than one, so it's not me.
Bro, I should have done the Boogie Monster, bro.
Was it like super colorful? Do you guys dream in
No, it
color
was like
or
black
black
and
and
white.
white?
I
Black and white.
remember this one time. I had a dream about him.
I know what you're talking
I went to like, you know, like the Brian Park.
You just have to sing.
Dream like
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
like that people jump. Continue this.
You just draw your own thing onto it. Or you can continue it, whatever you guys want. Just have fun with it. Just make it feel like a dream world or something. So make sure you switch papers.
I'm falling.
You're falling. That's yours.
The stick man.
Stairs falling down.
Gabriel, why don't you sit over here? And then you and me can do it now.
It's gonna be on my own picture. So I'm just looking.
So like, I accidentally spilled something in my mom's house.
Yeah, like a drink or something?
Yeah, it was like, so I dropped.
Okay,
And my mom's like, I was expensive one. And then a whole bunch of them fell off.
Oh.
So then I was running and
You're like freaking out.
I was like running to my bike and I went into my face and
Like you're running to try and get away because you knew she was gonna be mad. Did she catch you or you woke up before that?
And then when I went up the gate, I looked down and like it's like
Yeah. You like, and I like ran to you like
So then all of a sudden you raise your eyes like up and 1 or 2 more minutes and then I want you to write your name on it and then tomorrow I think we're gonna put like a big piece of paper down and we're all gonna draw a part of our dream on it to create one big thing for the class. Okay? Just get some ideas out. And then we're gonna take a little quiz really quick. After you guys are done with this, I'm gonna give you like 2 more minutes and then we're gonna move on to our quiz and then we're pretty much done for the day. Okay? So what do we think about surrealism? You like it?
I like surrealism. I don't really like to think about it. I just find
So do you think like this is a little like how do you think this artist is different than Frida Kahlo in her artwork?
he's crazy.
You think he's crazier than her? She was dealing with more of her like trauma kind of stuff.
Yeah. He's
Similarity between him and Frida Kahlo as far as their surrealism. Like what's something that they showed a lot in both of their artwork in a way? It has to do with like the insects kind of like. Yeah, right? So she was always in pain and always like a lot of her stuff. Remember she had like the stuff going into the ground and then she always had like her laying like she was in a funeral on top of her bed and stuff like that. The what? So roots, yeah. Surrealism is. What's a good word to describe surrealism? What are we doing? What are you guys drawing right now? Hallucinating or your what? Dreaming world, right? Tomorrow. And then we're gonna do a quick little quiz just to see how we're doing for vocabulary. Everybody. memory of the artist and stuff over there. Thank you. Alright, so I'll give you a couple minutes to finish this, like 4. Alright, 1 more minute and then we'll pass it forward. So we like this artist, yeah? Kinda? Like you like more the idea of this realism than his actual art, or you like some of his art?
Some of his art was a little wonky.
Yeah?
There's a part where it like I did not like that.
That part, yeah. The photograph. Confident about what's realism is, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? What are 2 words to describe realism? Nathan?
Lucid dream.
Lucid dream, good. Gabriel, what's another one?
Like, real, but not really like a dream.
Like your subconscious, unconscious,
I
yeah?
like a dream, like a dream.
Yeah. So if you were to see a picture of a melting clock, would you know that it was Salvador Dali?
Yes.
Oh, well, now.
Now you would. I mean, not now. No. Okay. So tomorrow we'll look over some more slides of his work for inspiration. We'll kind of do more of the collaborative project, and then we'll also draw his most famous one. We'll show you how to do that. Okay? Sound good?
Yeah.
Alright, good job, guys.